Welcome back to the shop and to the channel. Try to get back to work on this tool grinder, get this wrapped up today. It is another cold weekend here in Northeast Ohio. We're getting down to single digits and it is snowing again. We probably have about a good foot of snow on the ground, so I'm ready to be over with it. Anyway, back to this grinder. I've got a couple of grinding wheels. This one right here is used. It's not in great shape, but we'll see. It's got a contour on it, which I'm not exactly sure if it came this way. It looks like it's from MSC. Maybe it's 100 grit. I'm not sure exactly what if you know what those numbers mean, leave a comment down below. But it's like chipped a bit here, and so I don't know how thick this material is. I don't know if this is on the surface or what. I don't even know what this material is, but we're going to go ahead and give it a go. I am going to reuse the screws that were on here before. Here, try to get that one in. Got one started, and then we'll try to get it seated on that hub, that centering ring. I went down to the local Ace Hardware store because I wanted to replace these screws because the heads of them are pretty in pretty rough shape, hoping that they would have some 3/8/16 button head cap screws, and they did, but they're like 1.25 inches long, so they're really too long for this application. And I could have cut them down, but I figured this is probably just easier to try to reuse the old ones. I think I'll probably go online and see if I can't just go ahead and order some more hardware, maybe from McMaster. I hadn't planned on making a trip down there, but it's probably my best option. I was fortunate enough, I did find this 46 grit wheel from MSC on their eBay store. So this is a brand new wheel, so I'm going to try not to drop it. I'll have to keep my eye out for some deals on some other grinding wheels. I'd like to get, a diamond wheel to grind carbide, but boy, those are so expensive. It is definitely not in this shop's budget. But, there are different kinds of material for grinding different kinds of tools. And it would be nice to have a variety of grinding wheels, so I have that option available to me. But I think for now these will probably do okay. I did put the coarser wheel over here on this side and the finer one on the right side. Again, kind of being right-handed, I am more likely to use the one on the right side of the machine. So if I'm just touching up a tool, I'm more likely to use this face. So that's why I put the finer wheel on this. Hopefully this will clean up here. I do have a wheel dresser. Once I get this all together, we'll give that a try. Well, the next thing to go on here are these trunnion supports. These mount up here underneath. Allow you to adjust the table. The table will mount to here, so it can pivot. And this allows you to adjust the table in and out. And then also, the way the table mounts, there's a protractor on the underside of it with a degree indicator on the bottom. Now, for whatever reason, the one on the other side this pointer, it's not pointing straight up anymore. And I'm not sure if they did that on purpose because both of them, maybe they got knocked. I don't know. Maybe it was damaged. But I need to get those straightened out so they're back at 0. I'll do that off camera, but I'm sure it's just there so you can fine tune and adjust it, get it square, and then mark it for 0. But for now, I want to get these mounted to this side of the grinder. Just uses a hex head bolt. I'm going to leave these loose for now until we get the table mounted and get this aligned. I do want to fix that pointer though, or at least get it closer to 0. All right, the next thing I want to go ahead and install here is the water pan. And the water pan mounts on these 2 front fasteners on the trunnion. And there's a couple of nuts that go on here. This nut here goes on first. We'll put a jam nut on it. Let me get these trunnions mounted to the underside of the table, and they just have six screws. Also want to keep these just a little bit loose until I get these mounted on the trunnion supports. Now, I did everything at least reasonably correct. All right, there we go. Let me know down in the comments how you're liking this whole me talking straight to the camera thing in this microphone. I'm still not quite used to it yet. I feel like I'm rambling half the time. So I don't know if it's a good thing or a bad thing, but let me know down in the comments what your thoughts are on me continuing to use this wireless microphone and just talking to the camera versus recording the voiceovers. I don't mind doing the voiceovers. They do take a lot longer for a variety of reasons. But, you know, to be truthful, the reason why I like the voiceover is because it gives me an opportunity to kind of get my thoughts together. And so when I finally do say what I want to say, it's a little less, I don't know. I'm not sure the word that I'm looking for. But the other thing is if I say something and I flub my words, it's a lot easier for me to re-record a voiceover than it is for me to take something apart and do it again, which I won't do. If I flub what I'm saying, at this point, I'm going to flub what I say. I kind of feel like the voiceovers are more polished, where I'm just kind of talking into the microphone while I'm doing this. Maybe it's a little more conversational. I don't know. I'd be interested in your thoughts. Again, drop a comment down below. Let me know what you think on the next project. I'm not sure if I'm going to continue using the microphone here. All right, let me get the trunnion supports and the trunnion and the table and everything mounted up on the other side, and I'll bring you back when I've got that done. I don't know if you remember from when I took this thing apart, but this little valve was on the water pot, and I think this only goes together one way. Yep. And it was pretty well seized up. I managed to clean it all the way through. Give this a quick polish. So I should be able to get this back together. The spring will go on here first. And then this washer, I believe this is the right way. This goes back together. Okay, now this gets mounted up inside of here. Then there's this little gasket. And then this nut, it's got a recess underneath it for that gasket to fit in. And the hope is it makes a nice watertight seal between the valve and the water pot. Let's see if it leaks. When I get my sandblast cabinet set up again, I'll sandblast this. Maybe I'll paint the inside of it just to keep it from rusting. This can go back on the grinder. It can either go on this side or this side. Seems to fit better on this side. I want to get this gooseneck for the light cleaned up. I think this might have been painted at one time, but I'm not too worried about the paint. But I think the easiest way for me to clean this up is going to be on the wire wheel. Again, I'm not looking for like a total tool restoration here. I'm just looking for it to be cleaner. So I'm not too worried if I leave a little bit of junk behind. It's going to get dirty again anyway, because it will get used in this shop. I'm not going to get it all because I'm not going to take this apart to worry about it. Sometimes cleaner is clean enough. Well, this is the guts of that light. I mean, there's nothing really wrong with this. This probably isn't as old as the machine, maybe. I don't know, but I mean, this lamp cord, I just don't trust it. It's been tied up with zip ties, and it's kind of bitten into the insulation, and quite frankly, I'd rather just not use it. But I think I can get this apart and save it. So let's see. There's a couple of screws down here in the top. You can see a little bit about what I'm doing. I'm thinking this is how I want to take this apart. I'm not positive. I could be doing completely the wrong thing right now. Okay, that feels loose. That feels loose. See, does that help me get the bottom off? Does that have anything to do with the bottom being on? I don't know. Ooh. No, I don't think it did, but it held on these terminals, which I guess I could have left those on. You know, that whole thing's going to come out the bottom, isn't it? Yep. The socket's going to come out the bottom. Oh, I hope this wasn't a mistake. Or maybe does it go out the top? No, it comes out the top. I think it's more likely the way this should come out. Okay, this is getting more and more interesting. Yeah, I shouldn't have taken those brass screws apart. Nope, shouldn't have done that. That's okay. Nothing we can't fix. I guess I should have Googled YouTube on how to do this. Maybe I wouldn't have made this mistake. Okay, that's gonna go this way. Alright, after spending a little time off camera figuring out how this thing is supposed to go back together, now that I understand it, I can see there's something here I want to fix. And that's this on-off switch. It's got this tab here, and it's awful floppy, and I think that's it. This thing did feel weird when I was trying to turn it on and off, like there was this slack in it. And I figure, what the heck, this won't take but a couple minutes. I am going to fix it. So we'll take a little bit of some JB Weld epoxy, and I guess I really do mean literally a little, and mix it up and glue this thing back together. And you might be wondering to yourself, well, Greg, if you're not going to do a full restoration on this thing, then why in the world are you going through all this trouble to repair what amounts to really a $2 a $2 lamp socket? And I'm wondering the same thing myself. And quite frankly, I do not have a good answer for you. But for whatever reason, I'm fixing this lamp socket. I could easily go into my pile of electric parts and stuff. I am almost certain I have some lamp sockets that are similar to this, although I believe the ones that I do have are pull chain, and I really don't want a pull chain bulb socket. I would much rather have this one here. So yeah, well, here we are. Sometimes we do things that don't make any sense whatsoever, and I am as guilty of that as the next guy. So what I'm going to do here, I'm going to slap some JB Weld on here. Do need to clean up the end and get this cleaned up. All right, I'm going to let that cure for a little bit. This will fit down inside this socket. Make sure it's going to fit in there correctly, and it will. All right, we're going to let this sit and cure. It probably shouldn't take more than 5 minutes or so. Once it is, we'll get some of the excess cleaned up off of it, and we'll start getting this thing put back together now that I understand how this goes together. Should be pretty simple. Yeah, it's a little bit wonky, but that's all right. This will sit in here like this. Yeah, I like it. All right. Now let's work on putting this thing back together. All right, we got this back together. Everything seems to be functioning okay. The switch feels really good. You can see this little tab here is what makes the connection. So you got your incoming current here as this brass piece across the top. When you turn it, it locks it in. That brass piece that just flipped up is what that center is connected to. And of course the outside of it's connected here through this other brass screw. So that's how it ends up completing the circuit. So cool. It actually feels a lot better, a little more positive. I'm actually happy I did this. So happy mistake taking this thing apart. I didn't need to take it apart, but it allowed me to fix this, so I'm happy about that. All right, now I need to rewire this thing. I need the bottom cap. Cut that off. We'll get rid of this old wire. I've got this bundle of new lamp cord here. I don't need all of this, but we'll unwrap this. Take this, reinsert it. There we go. That's it. And then we'll feed the other end here down through this gooseneck. This little set screw came out of here before. Just keeps its head from spinning off, I guess. And then there's this little, I don't know if this is like a heat shield or what, but that fit over top of this. And then there's this little spring. Now for the other end of this, I really wanted to put on just a simple, this kind of a plug. I might have one somewhere, but I don't know where it's at. So I've got this one here. This is, is a grounded outlet. It's not ideally what I would want. But it's what I have, so it's what I'm going to use. All right, let's plug it in and see if I get electrocuted. But it's still touchy. Huh. That's interesting. I wonder why. All right, well, I think that's a problem for a different day because I'm going to have to take this apart again. That's disappointing. It's really disappointing. Okay, well, I'm going to put it back on the machine. We'll go from there. All right, well, it's all back together now. I did get the lamp mounted, and I did end up taking this apart again and fixed it. That little spring piece that I pointed out earlier just needed a little bit of tweaking. And so now I have a nice vintage work lamp here. Let's go ahead and fire up the phase converter. Still nice and quiet. I need to dress the wheels. I do have this wheel dresser. I don't know if it's the right thing for this or not. Make a little bit of a weird noise. Yeah, I'm not sure where all the noise is coming from. Something's vibrating. I think that's the problem. Is something on here may be loose. It's not coming out of the motor. piece of high-speed steel. I'm not grinding anything specific here. I'm just grinding. It's grinding. Well, I think that's about going to do it for this little cleanup project. This is where this grinder is going to be, at least for the time being, next to the buffer, and my surface grinder's over there to the left of the buffer. I'm not exactly sure this is where I like it. I know for sure I got to get a different wheel for this side of the grinder because I do not like that one at all. This one over here is fine. I don't have miter gauges. I need to find at least one, or I need to make one. I thought I had one for an old bandsaw, but when I went and looked at it, it was the slide was too wide, and actually the protractor itself was too long. It would end up hitting the grinding wheel. So yeah, I need to find a different grinding wheel for this side, something fine grit. Either that, or I got to figure out exactly how I would dress this, because this thing is at an angle and it really needs to be, at least for what I want, it needs to be straight. At least I think I want it straight, but regardless, I think I need to do something with that. But I took it off of the dolly I had it on, so now it's stationary, which I think is better, but I don't know if I like the idea. If I had the idea I could pivot this thing and make use of the ends of the wheels better, or maybe I turn it one way and leave it that way and don't even use this other wheel. I don't know yet. I'm undecided. Yeah, this will be a nice tool to have, but I don't know. It's kind of giving me pause as to whether or not this is really where I want it. I guess the thing is, I'm just not sure if this is going to be comfortable doing it this way when I'm trying to grind a lathe tool or something for the shaper. So I have to give this some thought. Let me know down in the comments what you would do if you were me. Would you leave it on wheels? I mean, it wasn't that big a deal with it on wheels. At least I could move it around. So I know I need to get a different wheel for that side, at least probably. I don't have anything else I can put over there. There are different materials. Aluminum oxide. Of course, there's diamond wheels, which are pretty expensive, but yeah, we'll see what comes my way as to whether or not I'm going to put an expensive diamond wheel on it. I think I really need to find the protractors though, so I can, set angles for when I'm grinding these tools, but none of that matters if this wheel is this way. So I'm not sure what I should do about flattening that wheel. I mean, I could use a wheel dresser. I've got this one here too, which is more mechanical. But I don't know if that's what I should use to try to make that face of that wheel flat. Regardless, I don't think I want to do anything unless I have a protractor, so I can guarantee, at least reasonably guarantee, that that's going to be at a 90 degrees. Yeah. I'm glad I didn't paint it, because I think that would have been more bother. Plus, I would not be able to get a replacement motor tag for it. I'm sure that Tom Utley from Von Industrial could have made one, but would it have been cost effective for this particular machine? I mean, it's not like this thing really has any sentimental value to me, and it's not like it's in, otherwise perfect condition. So I guess I just don't see the logic in investing in that. I mean, what the stuff that Tom does is absolutely fantastic. It's just not in my wheelhouse to do that. Anyway, drop me a comment down below. Let me know what you think. I'm glad this project is finished. Nothing's ever really finished. I would like to plug these holes because the wires are sticking out there. But yeah, I think it'll be a good machine. Just need to make a few small improvements. If you're not a subscriber to the channel, I would appreciate it if you would hit that subscribe button. It does help the channel grow. It tells the YouTube algorithm that there's some people out there that like this content. Leave me a comment down below. Let me know what you think. Hopefully I'll get back onto the lathe project, but it's been 0 degrees here, and it's just too cold to work on that thing in the garage. But yeah, I appreciate you sticking around. If you watched the whole series, hope you found it interesting enough. Let me know too what you think about me using the microphone and talking to the camera. I'm kind of liking it, but I find that I ramble a lot, so for what it's worth. And like I said before, I think the voiceovers come across a little bit more polished. I don't know, maybe they're too polished. Maybe this sort of more conversational tone is a little bit more informal and appeals to you more. Let me know, again, in the comments. I really appreciate it. Well, that's it for now. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you on the next one.